I can see that. All right, jjakji versus Creator, game number 2.
We are live at the bottom of Antigua with a 1-0 lead over his opponent. In the red starts our Terran. It is
NS 호소짝지.
I was just about to say the name, and then I remember that we have actually Street Fighter Boys for the afternoon groups, and I was like, oh my god, if I spoil it, Street Fighter Boys will punish me.
We do, man.
Well, jjakji's opponent, once again a Protoss player. He's starting to the top of the map in the blue. We have...
Creator Prime.
Yep, Creator Prime indeed. A very, very strong Protoss player who was not really able to just showcase his skills in the last game.
Yeah, I mean, he really did everything well. I guess the one thing he could have done better was his probe scout, but once he saw how many Marines were in the bunker, he knew what was going on, but it's a tough build to face no matter what, even if you know it's coming. And we saw that in the last game. And this is something that jjakji prepared very specifically for the map, executed it well, got lucky with the positions, would not have worked as well at cross positions. It would have been really tough to execute there. And he is actually going for gas a second game in a row. He does not want to play against Creator. He does not want to allow Creator to take an expansion on his own accord.
Do you blame him?
No, man, I really don't. I mean, when this guy gets his forges up, things get out of control.
I've seen Creator play just lately against Marine King, as I pointed out earlier, and it was incredible. It was actually incredible. And I had actually a talk with a few Protoss players about his skill, and they all are huge Creator fans, and they say that something is a little bit different. I don't know if he's nervous, I don't know if he... What goes wrong when he sits in that booth, but we all know that it's a huge difference if you're actually playing in the GSL booth, or if you sit at home where you're really comfortable and you can kind of relax. But for some reason, Creator seems to have a problem of playing at live events in comparison to how well he actually performs when he's able to play in a familiar surrounding.
You know, what a lot of pros say about this guy is that he knows just the right amount of corners to cut against Terran and still be able to get the upgrades out, get the tech up. It's as if he knows the timings for when to build his tech structures better than anyone else. And when I used to study his replays a lot, I did a lot with Artosis, in fact, you know, we felt the same way. It was like, well, I don't know if he can make that Temple Archives right now, but he does it, and he holds that drop, he defends that attack with just enough units. His timings are spot on all the time, and that's something that's really, really something to appreciate about this guy. We saw last game, he knew what was going on, but he got unlucky, but he had the right amount of units, and if he had not lost some units for free, essentially like that Stalker that he lost the Hellions, as well as that Sentry, the very crucial Sentry, then he probably would have been in an okay spot from that last game.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing that, for example, a player like Todd says. Todd just recently left Fnatic, by the way, in case you haven't heard about it yet. But he says there are basically two Protoss players that he really admires. It's for one Seed, who has a great force field micro and showcases it over and over again, and it's Creator because of his build and how he approaches the matchup in general. So we will see if Creator is able to bounce back, because jjakji is a very tough opponent. As we pointed out earlier, he is a former Code S champion, and this guy showed, especially in the GSL, how strong he is. His team is already out, but he had Creator on the ropes in the first game. He made sure that Creator never got the chance to advance to the mid game, so therefore this time he's once again going for a one-base style, and let's see how Creator is going to deal with it.
This is really unique too, by the way. This is, he's going for Hellions and Marines, and he's got a starport. Now the question is, what will the starport be for? He saw already in the main base the late Robo.
This is basically a style that we had a couple of months ago, where you have the 8 Marines and you try to poke a little bit, and then you have the Hellions as well. You try to do some pressure them at the natural, at the same time you lift the Marines or the Hellions, matter of preference, into the main base of your opponent.
Yeah,
it can hit hard.
He saw that there was a late Robo, which is interesting to me that he's going to continue with this style after seeing that. It's something that can still work quite well, but with the faster gateways, if he keeps his Stalkers positioned well, he'll have enough gateway units and his production cycles to hold this quite well. He sees only Marines with his probe right now, and that's not very telling, but he does have the Watchtower, and he's still seeing the only Marines. Will he see the medevac? That is the question, and he does. He sees the medevac. This is really important because at this point now he can try to prepare his units accordingly.
Did he really see it though?
That is the question.
It was visible, but did he really look at it? Because the thing is, as soon as a couple of Hellions appear in your main base, everything is in a matter of seconds. You can lose so many units.
Well, he's got 2 Stalkers in the main.
Goes actually, does he go for a frontal attack? He seems to be trying to pull it off.
Yeah, and Creator actually looks like he's going to be able to hold this. He's got enough Stalkers to bring them down from his main base. And even though there's a medevac here, there's just so many Stalkers. DPS is insane.
Nice micro by jjakji, but as you already mentioned, he has too much. And look at this concave.
This gets crushed.
Sir, we are surrounded. Well, that's amazing. We can attack in any direction.
This is
Doesn't do him so much good.
No, not really, you know. This is... If he actually finds and kills that medevac, the game will probably end. But even still...
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but the thing is, it's a really tough situation for jjakji to be in right now. He's actually supply blocked as well. And, oh no, actually the supply depot just finished, just in time, okay, well timed. But he is immediately setting up another bunker, and he needs to be very careful here. For jjakji, everything so far went wrong, and Creator, of course, has the Observer out by now. He's spotting his opponent's main base, he's spotting the expansion, he spots the follow-up for his opponent, and now he can go straight. There they are, Double Forge and the Robotics Bay.
I'm a little bit surprised he went for Robo instead of Twilight Council, based on what he's seen, but... That's fine, you know, he's actually going to be fine with this. Either way, he's so ahead right now, he can make 2 Twilight Councils and no Forges and still be okay, because he has shut down everything. Oh, these Hellions, though, do sneak by. He's got some Stalkers, though, at his natural, so you will be fine. He's just so well prepared for everything, even having Stalkers in his main for a possible drop there as well. And right now, he's only about 10 supply ahead of his opponent, but he knows he's got 2 mining bases, whereas his opponent does not. He's got so much gas, and his tech is infinitely ahead. I mean, he's got to be thinking, how can I lose?
Yeah, the economy is just way better. We have him on, how many harvests does he actually have? 45 to 33. And at the same time, obviously, also our Terran player doesn't have the second orbital just yet, so he cannot rely on the second mule. And this is just bad news for jjakji, and you can also already see that there's a slight difference in the supply in general, 65 to 78. And with the tech that you just pointed out, he is miles ahead of his opponent.
He's getting his first Colossus now. The reason I am surprised with the Colossus choice is that he knows Starport tech is already available. So if he gets scouted with the drops that are floating around at that robotic support bay, then his opponent will just start Viking production immediately. It won't be as effective as I feel perhaps getting a Twilight Council for his upgrades would be. But he's getting it already anyways. He's already got +1/1. Chrono boosting out. It's almost finished, in fact. He is hitting it perfectly. Does jjakji even have any upgrades started? No, not even one. He's got an eBay, but he hasn't even started +1 there. He can't afford it. He's desperate at this point, and we're seeing the Warp Prism right now.
Yeah, Creator used this against Marine King over and over again, and he did so much damage. It was really fascinating to see how much the single Warp Prism was able to pressure the Terran player. And if jjakji falls for the same trap and does not really pay attention to the Warp Prism, does not have any defensive units or structures set up in his main base, then he might die to this pressure. Creator always made sure that he, well, either he, in some of the games he actually harassed only with the Warp Prism, but in most of the matches he moved out, put some pressure on his opponent at the front, made him to draw all the units to the front in order to defend, and then he dropped into the main base, warped in a whole bunch of units, and just retreated with the Warp Prism.
Yeah, that is a pretty common tactic, and I think that this may be something that we see. The Warp Prism does sneak around the left side. A Factory spots it, but I mean, he's probably not. He probably didn't actually really see it. Now, the thing that's going to occur at this point is going to be quite scary for jjakji, because obviously the Warp Prism is going to be there, but also this attack will be shut down so easily. He only has 1 sentry though, and his zealots are at the back, so you need to make sure you position those a little bit better.
The Warp Prism arrives in the main base of jjakji, and there's the drop. And will he warp in units as well? He does.
He has enough at home, so he doesn't need to actually use defensive warp-ins. And he is going to town here, taking out so many SCVs already.
The Colossus is sniped! Oh, Creator! What are you doing? He does not pay attention to his Colossi, but still he's still able exactly to throw jjakji back.
His upgrades are so good. He's got so many units, and he is killing every last SCV of jjakji. jjakji going down 26, charge finishes, and this allows his Zealots to kill even more reinforcing units. The Stalkers moving in here, they do not have Blink, but they're just so much faster than this Terran army unstimmed. They are chasing it down. They're living up to their name right now.
The Zealots freshly warped into the main base, charge in,
GG.
take him down, and the GG is called. jjakji and Creator, they tie. But for a second I was really scared when I saw jjakji stimming up the ramp, Creator not microing his units, apparently not looking at the attack. He lost his Colossus immediately and was like, oh god, this should not have happened.
That was a little bit concerning. That was quite alarming, but you were right. He was microing his units in the main base, so he was not actually looking at that moment in time. But jjakji now, I mean, he's probably going to reconsider his strategy on the third game. We saw him do a timing attack in the first game. It worked well. The second game got totally shut down. So the third and final map is going to be Ohana, another two-player map where he can use a strategy like this, but I just don't feel that's what we're going to see. If anything, I was just going to say, if anything, I think he might 2-racks into Factory if he's going to do something like this.
Creator right now seems to be really tense, and this also basically says again what I mentioned earlier, that he seems to be a bit nervous when he's playing in the booth. And there's of course a lot on the line. He wants to prove himself. He knows that he has the skill, but he has to have the composure as well.
And you know, who couldn't have the composure in that new Prime jacket? Look at that. It's not even a jacket, it's like a shirt with a... I'm in awe, man. Wow.
You really like that shirt,
I like it, man. Like, I wasn't sold until I saw the collar that says Prime on it, and that's when I was like, whoa. Nobody's ever had a collar that says Prime on it before. I don't care who you are. It's like not even 100% certain if it says Prime. What if it says Prince? That's also cool. You can't see. You don't know.
Prime Evil.
Prime Evil? Good, man. Maybe it says Primitive. I doubt it, though, because this is a creator we're talking about. Maybe it says Primate. Primate is also true. It could be Private, all right?
My God.
They may consider him to be a Private. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it says Prime. We are going to jump into our third and final game between Creator and jjakji. The map is Ohana. This is the GSL Code A with Calder and Wolf.